Making Your Paddle Game Part 2. So we're going to have a few more elements that we're going to be putting into this game. So just to refresh you, basically when we start the game, we can then use the paddle to hit the ball like so. Okay, we'll just stop there. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to pop a little background in there. So I'll go into here, search for backdrops. Might just put a wall in there, shall we? There we go. That looks pretty good. Oh, I like where the paddle is too. Probably could shift it down a bit so it's just along there. Beautiful. Okay, it's still going to go backwards and forwards the way we wanted it to. Now, what we're going to do, if we're going to make this into a game, we need to find a way to make it so that it will stop. So if the ball happens to get past the paddle, we need to have a little something there so it will stop. So I'm going to go into the backdrops. On here, I am going to select a line. I will select a colour. Red. Looks good. And I will select a width for it. Probably something decent like 20 should be good. Okay, right, actually no more. 30, that looks a bit better. So just under where the paddle's going to be, want a nice big long line there. So I'm going to push shift, click, and there is a nice straight line there. Alright, so now I have my line. So let's go back into the ball and find out how we're going to make this work for us. So we've already got what's going to happen when the flag drops. We can have another one now. So now when the flag drops, shall we pop it underneath here so we can see it a little easier. We're going to wait a little bit of time. Half a second is going to be just fine. Then we're going to say if the ball touches the red line, the game's over. So we need an if then, and again with the sensing. Now this time we're going to do it by colour here. So if it is touching a colour, now click into the colour. Now if you want to be extremely accurate, pick the little dropper here and choose the colour, and you will end up with the absolutely accurate colour you're talking about. Otherwise, if you try and figure out the colour and it's not quite right, it won't work. And then we're going to say if it does touch that, and I'm going to go into my control and we're going to stop all scripts. That is it. Game over. And we will need to be this detecting or looking for this the whole time. So it's going to be another one of these in the forever loops. And pop that on here. So now, if I happen to miss it, yep, that's it. Nothing works anymore until I push the flag. Right. So that's that. So that's going to be the game over. So now what we have to do is to make it a game, we have to score some points. So we're going to be going into our variables. And they've already got a set of variables there, but you can do it so you understand it. So you can make a variable, and we're going to call it score. Do it for all sprites. Okay. So now my score will be up here, and I have a choice now of what's going to happen. So once again, on the ball, we're going to say that we're actually just going to adjust something very easily. We're going to come over here to if it's touching the paddle. Now if it touches the paddle, we're going to say we're going to change my score by 1 point. So every time I manage to hit the ball, I'm going to get a point, and I'm just going to pop that right in here. There we go. So I didn't have to add any more coding, I just had to add a little element into the coding for this to work. Now, if you want to start the game again, then you need to be setting your score to 0 each time. So I just usually pop that just in here, so that when I hit the start, I start with, see, I get 1 point each time I hit the ball. Then when I hit the flag, back to 0 again. Right, so that's that bit done. So that's your variables, or making up a score. Now, I might want to have a way of ending the game and saying, right, when it's all over, or I get to a certain lot of points, I want to be able to say, that's it, I've won, all done. For this, we're going to make a sprite. So we're going to go in here and we're going to paint a sprite. And it's going to come up with the big letters you won. So there's the text. And marker, I like that one. Okay. You won. Okay, we might want to think about the colour, considering it's on the wall. Nice green colour might do the trick. Okay, there we go. That's nice and big. And we might want to make that lettering a little bit bigger. Make sure it's over the centre here. You can see the little dot here. That's the centre of your sprite. Right, you won. So to get this to come up, we go into our code and we're just going to say when the flag is clicked. First of all, you're going to hide. So we go down here. We're going to hide. Now at some stage we're going to want it to show, so I just pull that out while I've got it here. Then we're going to go into a control and we're going to wait until the score is of a certain stage. Now for that, we're going to go into operators. And we've decided that the score would need to be greater than 5. You can make it more or less. So my score is going to be greater than 5. So when I hit 5 or more than 5, I'm then going to show this. And once again, that's the end of the game. I'm going to stop everything. So there we go. So that's now working with the score you've got up here. So when I hit the flag, I have to be playing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and when I get to 6, I've won. So you can make your game harder by changing the speed, by upping the score. One last little thing you could do if you want to add a little pizzazz to your game is you can look at adding a sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here. I don't want a boing, I don't want a pop. I want something like a ball hitting. So I'm going to go down here, search into sports. And oh, that sounds perfect. Ping pong hit. So I'll click that, come back into my code, and now every time it hits, which will be over here, I'm going to add my sound. So start sound, ping pong hit. Okay, try and keep that all nice and neat and tidy so you can see where everything is. Here we go. There it is all there. Okay, so if I do this. Oh, epic fail. Yep, and I've won. So there we go. So you have now the elements of scoring. You have the elements of using when the sprite touches, or when you're touching a colour, you can get things to happen. Okay, and you might even like to see, as you can see in the ball, had a whole lot of colours. You might even want it to go to the next costume every time it hits the paddle or something. So there's a few things you can do if you want to experiment with this as well. Okay, so there we go.